a Jew can, it's impossible to think that a Jew could reach the holiness of Hashem. That's if you're talking about in the realm of logic. In the realm of logic, yes, it's impossible. But if you're talking about the essence of Hashem is beyond all limitations, and therefore there is no such thing as what he could do when he can't do. And so through tshuva, since a Jew through tshuva reaches the essence of Hashem, and the tshuva of a Jew touches and reaches the essence of Hashem, so that at the essence of Hashem there are no limitations at all. And therefore it's possible Yachal Komeini that a Jew is able to reach the holiness of Hashem, because tshuva connects us to Hashem Himself, and therefore there are no rules. It's not Yachal Komeini, as the Chernobyl Rebbe says. Yachal Komeini is not a question. Do you think you could be like me? Rather, Yachal Komeini means Yachal Komeini. You can be like me. You can become one with me. That's what tshuva does. So it doesn't make sense. Of course not. But that's the way it is. And now let's go into Isay. Shleimar Shnei Abiyurin Minigela Psuk Shem Nimar Shnei Exersh Nasmesh Banov Nichol B'Zeh Gam Pish Kalama Pasukation to you Shnei Push Yachal Komeini Puyim Zeh B'Zeh. I said Shach already, right? Thank you. Chaim.
I think Allah says that if you usually say Shach,
no, Chacha says that if you don't know if you said a bracha or not, you don't have to say a bracha. Okay.
If you usually say
it. Doesn't mention the word usual in the Alter Rebbe. As far as in Brooklyn. Either way, let's discuss. We'll get to the brachas shir tonight, Mr. Shem.
Right.
Okay. So there are two translations of the words of the Talmud. Yachal Komeini. Yachal Komeini either is a statement, you could be like me, or Yachal Komeini means you possibly think you could be like me. So those two translations of that phrase are in sync with the two interpretations of Hashem's crowns. The argument is, when Hashem says, Kadoshim to you, you should be holy, is that a reference to a crown that is placed on Hashem's head, or is that referring to a crown that's placed on our heads? So the Rebbe says the two explanations, whether we can reach Hashem's Kedusha or not, that would answer whether or not Hashem's commandment to us to be holy is His own crown or not. In other words, if we could reach Hashem's holiness, so when Hashem tells us you shall be holy, He's talking about the crown that is His own crown. He's talking about what He puts on His own head, because we could reach that level. However, if you say you should be holy, if you say that we cannot reach Hashem's holiness, so Hashem's commandment to us to be holy has nothing to do with His own crown. We can't possibly reach His crown. That's something that that's a crown that we put on our own heads. But to reach Hashem's Kedusha, that's impossible. So the two interpretations of Yachal Komeini, could you be like me or not, that will affect whether Hashem's commandment to us to be holy, is that associated with His own crown or not. If you interpret the words Yachal Komeini as a question, do you think you could be like me? If that's how you interpret it, so when Hashem commands us to be holy, He's not talking about something associated with Himself. That's talking about something that we could do, our holiness. So when Hashem commands us to be holy, He's talking about placing a crown on our own heads. As we said, there are three crowns. Two Hashem places on our heads, and one He places on His own. So if we cannot reach His Kedusha, when Hashem says, you should be holy, He's talking about putting a crown on your own head. And according to the way we translated Yachal Komeini, not that you think you could be like me, but it's a statement. You could be like me. So when Hashem is saying you should be holy, Hashem is referring to His own holiness, the crown that He places on His own head. And two crowns He places on our heads are the other words in the Torah, you shall be holy, you will be holy. How come the Medrash says that God places a crown on His own head? The words Kadeshani, I am holy. This is Hashem's own holiness. It's a unique holiness. It's something which has, so to speak, nothing to do with us. Yet that holiness also comes down through our efforts. So how come it's called Hashem's holiness? If it's something indeed that we could bring down, so how come it's called Hashem's holiness? It's something we do too. Why are we making a distinction between the Torah mitzvahs that we do and the tshuva that we do? Everything that we're doing is something that we're doing. So whether or not it causes a divine flow, which is within the confines and limits of logic or not, either way, we're talking about something the Jewish people are doing. So how come we're talking about something that Hashem is placing on his own head and seems not connected to the Aved of the Jewish people? You ready for this? Okay. What's our question? It says in the Medrash, okay, let me just go to the point. The point is that when a Baal Tshuva does Tshuva, what's really happening is, why is he doing Tshuva? What's motivating the Tshuva? What's motivating the Tshuva is not his persona, not his understanding, not his feelings. What's happening in Tshuva is that the Baal Tshuva is revealing how he is one with Hashem. So it's not because of his magnificent understanding of life and now making a major change. What the real stuff Tshuva is made of is that a Jew and Hashem are one. Because a Jew and Hashem are one, therefore a Jew does Tshuva. So if the reason you're doing Tshuva is because, or when you do Tshuva, what you're doing is not more of you, it's more of Hashem. It's revealing how you are one with Hashem. So it comes out that even your own crown is really God's crown. We're making a distinction when saying there's the crown of Hashem, the crown of the Jewish people. Why are we making this distinction? A Jew and Hashem are one. So in Shuvah, you are revealing how your Hashem is one with Hashem. So it comes out that even after there's a crown the Jewish people have drawn down to their Shuvah, they're doing Shuvah. They're eliciting this holiness of Hashem, which is beyond anything that logic can justify. They're revealing and drawing down this incredible level of Kedusha. But where is that crown now? It's not it's on the Jewish people. It's on the crown. It's the crown of the king, because what we're doing is not something other than revealing how we are one with Hashem. So although it's something that we're doing, but we're not doing it because of ourselves. We're doing it because we're one with Hashem, and therefore the kedusha that's brought down to tshuva is not. The Medrash doesn't classify it as a crown on the head of the Jewish people. Medrash crown classifies it as a crown on the head of Hashem. Why? Because what tshuva really is revelation of you and Hashem are one. So the kedusha you're bringing down is not because of yourself, it's because you're one with Hashem. So therefore, where is this kedusha associated with? It's associated with the head of the king. Understand or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Shleimar, this idea is discussed in the Maamarim of Parsha Tzav, not in the Maamarim of our Parsha. The Rebbe doesn't explain this in our Parsha. Rather, he only explains the Maamarim about Rosh Hashanah and Parsha Tzav. But this idea is only hinted to in the Maamarim of Parsha Tzav. In this Maamar in the Torah for this week, all the author says is at the first level of Kedusha, the Kedusha which is associated with Hashem himself, the way that expresses itself in us is that when you feel the infinite light of Hashem, it makes you want to leave where you want to come one with Hashem. The expression of Hashem's Kedusha is in when you feel the Keser, you feel the revelation of Keser beyond that Tzilus. What that makes you feel is there's something wondrous. It's not that you don't know what it is really, and you want to leave where you are to come one with Hashem. So it's not that you are absorbing and internalizing this revelation, Rather, this revelation causes causes you to ascend and leave where you are. So the idea of reaching Hashem's Kedusha and absorbing it through tshuva, that's something which is mentioned in the Maamar of Parshat Tzavim, not in the Maamar of Parshat Semer. Here it just says the infinite light of Hashem. What it does into you is it makes you want to leave where you are. But not about becoming one with Hashem. Doesn't mention this chiddush, this novelty that we just said, that your crown is really God's crown. That doesn't mention this here. It doesn't mention the Maamar of Rosh Hashanah. Why is it? Since Parshat Tzavim is right before Rosh Hashanah, and it's a time of tshuva, therefore, only through tshuva, when the time of tshuva is this idea relevant. Especially, according to the way the author explains the first verse of Parshat Tzavim, the first verse reads, "You are standing here together before Hashem." So Alter Rebbe says, you refer to all neshamas. And the day, you are standing here today before Hashem. Alter Rebbe says, you refer to all souls. And today refers to Rosh Hashanah. And all neshamas ascend before Hashem to their source on Rosh Hashanah. And therefore, in Maamar of Parshat Tzavim, where it's a time of tshuva, there the author talks about how the Jew is able to reach the holiness of Hashem and how that's revealed in you. It's through the Jewish people reaching their source, reaching their divine source. They get God's crown as well. They are able to achieve a connection to Hashem's own holiness, and their holiness is part of Hashem's own crown. When Hashem is placing the crown on his own head, that's where you are, because your tshuva brings you to Hashem's crown. That's relevant for Rosh Hashanah when that's a time of tshuva. And the Maamarim which were recited during the time of Sfiras HaEmer, like the Maamar of Parshas Deshim, the Maamar of Parshas Emer. What's Sfiras HaEmer about? Sfiras HaEmer is not about jumping. It's not about leaving where you are completely. It's about methodically and slowly, step by step, rectifying what's going on inside. It's a build-up. Sfiras HaEmer is about step by step ascending. So the author does mention this idea of reaching Hashem's holiness, but he mentions it only in a hint form. He doesn't say it explicitly. Why? Because it's not a time when this is revealed. What's revealed now, what we're focusing on now is going step by step. So in Maamar, more toward the recited in time of tshuva. So this idea of us becoming one with Hashem and revealing how we are one with Hashem, that's mentioned. Here in Maamar of Sfiras HaEmer, where we're going step by step, this idea of us through tshuva and reaching the crown of Hashem, that's only hinted to. Why is it mentioned at all? Why is it hinted to either? If this is not relevant to the time we're in, why is Alter hinting it to us now at all? You shouldn't mention it at all. Reason is, what's the theme of Sfiras HaEmer? Sfiras HaEmer is recounting the time when the Omer offering was brought. What's the Omer offering? We discussed the Omer offering was made of barley, just like the offering of the woman who's suspect of being unfaithful to her husband. And just like her offering was barley because she did something which was animalistic. Her entering into a private place with a man other than her husband is something which is unholy. And therefore her sacrifice is a animal food, it's barley. So similarly, the Omer offering was also barley because the theme of the time we're in now is elevating and refining and changing our animal soul. And refine your animal soul is similar to tshuva. Why? Because what's tshuva? Tshuva is about rectifying, well, there are many translations of the word tshuva, but the simple meaning of tshuva is to rectify the negative. So if you change your character, you're rectifying something negative. If you let go of something that you're not proud of, that leaves much to be desired in your own character, that's similar to the simple meaning of tshuva. So therefore, this is a time of tshuva. Huh? Tshuva for Averis. It adds another point. It always adds another point. Let's go further. Let's go. Let's explain. Let's discover why. While now is the highest time. Let's go all the way to the depth of what's going on right now. Let's not be satisfied by saying this is for Rosh Hashanah. This is for now. There's others hinting something. There's something deeper going on. This is a time of Shuvah as well. But let's add. Let's go even more. The Parashas Emor is read in most years in the Shabbos before Pesach Sheni. What's Pesach Sheni? Pesach Sheni when you had Shuvah. Pesach Sheni is Shuvah, and therefore in the Maamar it makes a lot of sense that we discuss this highest level of Shuvah. Now we become one with Hashem because this is time Pesach Sheni. It's serious Emor, yes. It's also time. The Maamar specifically were recited next to Pesach Sheni because Pesach Sheni is a theme of Shuvah. It's never too late. That's the difference between the first Pesach and the second Pesach. The first Pesach is the service of Hashem of Tzaddikim, which we weren't born as a new nation. We haven't done any Averis because we're brand new people. That's Pesach is about. And Pesach Sheni is about Shuvah. It's about how it's never too late, always rectify things. The Gamba Dushim Pashasem. Therefore, even in the Maamar of Pashasem, where the Alter Rebbe doesn't explicitly talk about how we are able to reach Hashem's crown, he hints to it. Why does he hint to it? That we could be like Hashem, Yochel Kameini. That Hashem is saying, you could be like me. How come the Alter Rebbe is saying that in a Maamar, Parshas Emor? Because Parshas Emor is recited around the time of Pesach Sheni, and Pesach Sheni is something that allows the Jew to become one with Hashem. So Yochel Kameini, you could not, it's not a question, it's a statement, you can be like me. Okay. So let's just go over briefly the last section of mine, what we just did. You learned that a king is given 3 crowns by his citizens of his country. And he takes 1 crown and puts it on his own head. He puts 2 crowns on the head of his children. So in a similar way, the angels, they crown Hashem every day with word Kaddish 3 times. What does God do with these 3 crowns? He puts 1 crown on his own head and 2 crowns on our heads. So we were analyzing the various interpretations of those crowns. Where do those crowns come from? What are they? So one interpretation is that God's commandment to us to be holy is also associated with the crown that he places on his own head. And we were trying to figure that out. How come when Hashem is telling us to be holy, what does that have to do with him placing a crown on his own head? So what we did is that we learned that the Tzemach Tzedek says that the words in the Medrash, you think you could be like me? The Tzemach Tzedek says it's ridiculous. It's a tmiyah. How could the Medrash even say that? Do you think you could be like me? Why would anyone think that? Yet the Alter Rebbe says that's the way it is. It's not even a question. It's a statement. The words "you think you could be like me" actually mean you can be like me. And how can we be like Hashem? It's through, even though it's not logical, it's beyond not just our logic, the logic of Atzilus. Yet Shuvah brings a Jew face to face with Hashem, and the essence of Hashem has no rules, and therefore a Jew is able to become one with Hashem. Who could tell Hashem what to do? So therefore, the holiness of Hashem, Hashem's own crown, is associated with us, with the commandment that he's asking us to be holy. Okay, so then why does the Medrash say he puts the crown on his own head? It sounds like he's doing it himself. But we're saying that it's through tshuva that we're doing it. So is it us doing it or is it him doing it? Through tshuva we reach Hashem's essence. And if you reach Hashem's essence, there are no limitations. Fine. But why is Medrash make it sound like he's doing it himself when it's really something that we're doing? And so what we answered is that when you do tshuva, you're not doing tshuva because of yourself, of your own persona. Tshuva is an expression how you are one with Hashem, how you are one with God's essence. So even after we have a crown, where is that crown? The crown is in God's hand. Even after we've elicited a crown, we've elicited something that Hashem's holiness, we were able to bring that down because Hashem has no rules. Where is that crown? The crown is not because of our persona, rather it's because we're one with Hashem. Therefore, therefore the Medrash says that the crown that God took for Himself is the crown that we've elicited through tshuva, because it's not because of us that we have this crown, it's because of Him. So it's a crown He placed on His own head, really. When a Jew does tshuva, what does that really mean? Hashem is putting a crown on His own head. You think you're doing because of you, but really what you're really doing is you're expressing how you are one with Hashem. So what's happening is it's an expression of Hashem Himself. And then we concluded and we said that I mentioned this concept specifically in Maamar associated with Rosh Hashanah, because Rosh Hashanah is a time of tshuva. However, he hints to it now, we said, for several reasons. Reason number one is because Sfiras HaOmer is also similar to the idea of tshuva. And number two, because we read this around Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni is a time of tshuva. There's two reasons. First of all, we didn't really have a question. We said ultimately mentions in Parshas Emor because this is not a time. He only mentions the regular way of serving Hashem, not the jumping and skipping beyond the limitations. Because it's a time of Sfiras HaOmer, it's just methodical at this time. But the reason he hints to it is because we have a connection to it this time as well, because changing your animal soul is tshuva, like tshuva. Number two, this is associated with upcoming Yontav, Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni is a theme of tshuva. And therefore, because we're in this time, Hashem tells us, Yochel Kameini, you can be like me, you can become one with me through tshuva. That's what I want to share today. Questions, comments? Yes.
I think your previous comment, not that there are no rules, there's no limitations.
Yes. Yeah, correct. There's no limitations. Our rules.
Limitations. That's
So Hashem's limitations.